Welcome back to Five Lakes Garage. Today's episode I'm very excited about because we have the potential, we don't know yet because I did buy it used, but the potential of actually putting a transmission back into the Wagoneer. It's been sitting here for months and it's been driving me crazy, but I picked up this used transmission from Watson & Sons Jeep Salvage Yard. It is over off the east coast of North Carolina. Fantastic place. The customer service is off the charts. So we don't know the condition of this one, but we're going to look at it and evaluate it, see how it goes. We do still have the old one here, and we're going to make one transmission out of the two. I'm going to try not to have to rebuild the whole thing, but if I have to, I have parts from both of them that we could potentially make into one. So anyway, so this is what we got. All right, so this is our one from the junkyard. Basically, they take a cutoff wheel, whack your hoses, cut off your cooler line, cross member gets just cut off, and then they yank it out with a chain. Now this is our original one. Now there's a lot of good pieces that are on this one, and some of those will be the dipstick. I'm gonna swap that over. Might swap over the sensors. I know they are in good shape. I need to swap this arm off over, and maybe a couple little odds and ends. But what we're gonna do is actually we need to get it onto this cart. The only problem though is quarantine has killed all of my strength. And not only that, a couple weeks ago I did throw my back out, trying to work out, trying to get my strength back. It didn't happen. Tweaked it, but it's okay. Because we work smarter, not harder. At least we try to anyway. So what I have here is a hoist. So let's pick this up, put it on the cart, pick up the other one, put that one on the cart, so we can look at them side by side. All right, so now we got both of them up on the cart, which thanks to the hoist made easy work of it. My back still feels great. I can still bend over. If I had to heave these up like about a year ago, I would just heave it up, not even thinking about it. But times have changed. All right, so the differences between these two and what we're actually gonna do right now is I'm gonna get rid of this rusty garbage right here. And then, because we still have the good stuff that's still on the Wagoneer. I did take the pump out of here, and that's the reason why I had to get rid of, start thinking about getting a different transmission. And we're gonna go from that. So basically I'm just gonna put some oil in it, change the filter, and send it. And if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, well, I'm back to rebuilding one again. But like I said, I got two of them. I can make that work. So let's get at it. We're gonna take off everything of that one that we want to swap out, like this old rusty thing here. That one looks a lot better at least. And we're gonna go from that. I'm gonna go through and actually get seals and that type of stuff. Hopefully the O'Reilly's down the street will have that in stock. But yeah, one step closer, getting the wag going. All right. All right, we pretty much drained all the oil. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it. And I don't see any metal shavings, which is good. It is pretty dark, which is not so great. But without seeing metal shavings, I think we should be okay with changing it, put some fresh stuff in there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the pan. I like my old one better. It's a lot cleaner because I've spent so much time cleaning it. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some lunch. I'm gonna pull the case off, pull the cover off, check inside, swap covers, swap the mounts, and then hopefully if I can get the seals, you put a torque converter in. Go around and I picked up a couple seals. I got the rear seal, I got the front pump seal, and also got a kit for the transmission pan as well as filter. So that brings me to the next item. All right, so I'm gonna take the pan off of this thing just to see what kind of shape the everything looks. If it's all greasy, grimy sludge, yeah, we're gonna probably try to clean it, but it's probably not gonna be any good. Maybe do some cleaning. We'll figure something out. But hopefully it looks good and we can save it. But anyway, the good thing is that a 13 millimeter is really close to the size I need, so I can use my metric tool. Anyway, come on, let's go. All right, so this is what we're seeing. There is some residue on the magnet. It's not enough to freak me out yet. I figure since the filter and the seals and stuff like that is only like 15, 20 bucks, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving forward, clean all this up, and then we'll put this pan on here because this is a much nicer pan, and also replace this filter. But all in all, it's not too awful bad. You know, sometimes there's a good reason why something's in a scrapyard. I'm looking on the filter here, and I do see some metal flakes. It's not a good sign. But there's still a chance. Let's clean it up and throw it in to see what it does. If it gives me another year or two, I'll be happy. Okay. Let's take the old one off. It's a shame because this is a new gasket, new filter, new everything, new oil, and it's still a big pile of crap, unfortunately. But the good thing is I don't have to clean much of this pan. The other one, it would take me hours to clean all that out. Anyway, let's keep going into it. Alright, well I got my pump seal out. Actually it wasn't that awful bad. I'm wondering if this was actually done previously. But of course I mangled it getting it out, so you can't reuse it. But I know I had a seal puller around here somewhere. I think I lent it out to my buddy, but yeah, can't find it. So make your own. This is right here is from a what do you call it, a tiki torch. And I just welded up a piece of steel. I'm not sure what that came from, but it seemed to work. It's a little flimsy on this side because it's a little thin, but this side seemed to work. I was able to get in there and pop it right out. So we got the new one in, but we need to finish it all the way in. Now we don't want to just ramsack this thing in. We want to make sure it's even all the way around. So what I'm going to do is grab my drift. Now if you had a piece of pipe that you can put all the way around there and push it all the way in exactly the same, that even works better. But I have a little punch. And I have my hammer with my brass tip on it. And all we're going to do is alright, so you can go all the way around it. Keep going all around until it goes all the way in. And you'll be able to hear when it's actually fully seated. You can hear it in the tap. So you can hear it sounds solid. So that is all the way in. So we should be good to go there. Alright, let's see if the torque converter fits. Alright, when you put a torque converter in, there's always 3 clicks. There she goes. You can hear it inside. See if you can hear it. Alright, so that's basically the forks hitting against the pump. Should be okay. Let's spin it around. Alright, so she seems to fit. Seems to be in there pretty good. So I'm going to take this back off and fill this guy back up with oil just to make sure. Stick her back in, and then we're going to put it back on the hoist, get it on a rolly cart, and put it in the Jeep. See how, and cross your fingers. Alright, so as you can see, you got the transmission just hanging here. I got it on some ratchet straps just to be able to get it up, to be able to get it on the jack. Because, like I said before, the quarantine has gotten me fat and soft. But now, it's high enough, I should be able to put the jack under it. right, so the transmission is in, the transfer case is in, the exhaust is on, the cross member's in, all that good stuff is in. Now, I'm getting ready to hook up the transmission cooler lines. Now, one thing you want to do when you put in another transmission, either if it's a new one, a used one, whichever, blow out your lines. All the fluid that goes into your cooler radiator up front, that could be contaminated. It could have stuff in there that you don't really want to have in there, especially if you're going to put a new transmission in. Always blow it out. I'm just going to use some compressed air, but just be careful. This is compressed air, and that's a lot of fluid, and it's going to make a mess. So have your bucket ready. Maybe put your hand on there with some gloves just so it will not get everywhere. But keep your pressure down so that you don't make such a big mess. But let's see what we got. There you go. All right, so the only thing I didn't do that I should have, put safety glasses on. I basically did all that with my eyes closed just because I didn't want it to splash everywhere. It was actually not as messy as I thought it was going to be. So I just emptied that out. Now, one thing you do have to realize is when you put fluid in there and everything like that and you're ready to crank it up, don't let it start. Let the motor crank a little bit, because what you want to do is actually pump fluid everywhere. You don't want to have air pockets and stuff like that within your transmission. So just keep cranking and cranking and cranking until you feel like there is enough pressure throughout the system. And then, once you feel confident with it, then you can crank it up and see if she'll actually move. But I think now, I'm going to hook up the cooler lines. I'm going to put my wheel back on. I'm going to get this back onto the ground. And then we'll test it. And cross your fingers. We might be driving it. Maybe. Hopefully. But we'll see. Yeah, let me get these cooler lines on. Alright, so I've topped off the fluids. I've put everything in that I think we're going to need. I have it on the ground. And now, what I'm going to do is I have the ignition turned off. You can either do that by pulling the wire off the distributor or the coil or whatever you have, just so it doesn't start. You just want to crank it over, because basically what you're trying to do is create a pressure within the transmission, excuse me, and actually get fluid everywhere. So we're going to do that now, and hopefully she doesn't buck on me. Alright, so cranked it up a little bit. We're going to check the fluid. Hopefully by now it has pumped fluid all throughout the cooler and the transmission itself. We just want to make sure it is topped off and actually make sure the pump is actually working. Also, this thing's been sitting around for a while. Cranking it up will get the oil pump going, which will put oil up into the top of the engine so you don't have a dry start. And just to show you how long it's been since this thing's been moved, I had to wipe out spider webs because there's spider webs everywhere. Alright, sad day here at Five Lakes Garage. The junkyard transmission, which you never really are guaranteed to have a good working transmission. It could be the reason why it's in the junkyard to begin with. Now, I cranked it up, double checked everything that I can think of, and I am not getting any line pressure whatsoever out of this thing. So it could be the same problems I have with the other one with the pump eating itself. I'm not quite sure, but more research will have to be done. Well, you're not always going to get 100% on every project, but you know, I've learned a little bit, so I guess it's not a total failure, but it is disappointing, I would have to say. But now I have two transmissions, so maybe I can put two of them together to make one good one. It looks like a full rebuild might be in our future. I was kind of hoping to get away from that, but if this pump is okay, which I don't even know if it is, I'll have to pull it apart and see what is going on with it. It's kind of weird that we're not getting any line pressure whatsoever. everything that I'm reading points to the same thing. Pull the darn transmission back out. That really sucks, but we'll do what we got to do. A couple of troubleshooting things that I've done. I did put a gauge to the side of the case for line pressure. And with the old one, I was getting really low line pressure, which was meaning that something wrong with the pump. Took the pump apart and it looked like the gears were trying to eat itself within the pump. So that's why I went with this transmission. Pumps don't usually go out. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. I have to look that up. But I will look into this one a little bit more. What else did I do? I did take one of the return transmission cooler line off of the transmission. I hooked a hose up to it and then I stuck it to a bucket. Cranked it up and I'm not getting any flow at all. It is really weird. Anyway, I'm just rambling because I'm pissed off, and I guess I'll be taking the transmission back out. Now, if any of you have actually had this problem before, please comment below and point us in the right direction. I don't know if I'll actually pull this transmission out today. I might just clean up, put everything away. It's cold, it's rainy, feet are cold, fingers are cold. It's just cold. All right, well, sorry we didn't have a happy ending on this one, but we will try again next time. So keep tuning in and you'll see how the saga continues on the Wagoneer. Catch you later. Bye.